Welcome to my next Lost. Season 2 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important, if you are caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching Lost, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, you found that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And for all of you out there that are wondering, I've already seen Lost 3 times all the way through. The last couple times I've watched the show, I've been binge watching it, which doesn't necessarily help me retain information. So I wanted to revisit the show and take my time with it. So I'm watching 1 to 3 episodes per week to let things resonate. But I'm not the only one that's watching Lost. The legendary Crazy Coffee Man, who you see in my comments section for various videos, especially Lost, Breaking Bad, Dexter, and Lucifer, is actually watching Lost for the first time. So no spoilers past this episode, but join us on the journey and let's discuss this awesome and amazing show. With all that said, this will be Lost, Season 2, Episode 5. The title of this episode is called And Found. This will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. So we start with Sun talking to Claire about how they think the raft is doing. Claire trusts that Michael knows what he is doing. Claire is puzzled when Sun starts to frantically look around, only to learn that her wedding ring is missing. Sun is getting dressed in this is a Sun flashback episode. Sun and Jin flashback. Sun is getting dressed in a fancy room when her mother enters and asks if she's really intending to wear the shoes she's wearing. When Sun doesn't understand why her shoes aren't acceptable, her mother explains that her date might be shorter than she is and makes her put on shoes with a lower heel. She goes on to criticize Sun for not finding a husband in college. Sun insists that she was at college to learn. Mrs. Pike says Sun's father thinks it is time to find a man and get married before it's too late. Meanwhile, still a flashback scenes, Jin prepares for an important job interview at a big hotel. His roommate consults an astrology book and suggests to Jin that he is destined to find love soon, and Jin jokingly asks what true love will look like. Taiso, I think that's how you pronounce his name, says Jin's true love will be orange. Jin tells Taiso about his ambitions to get a job, get promoted, and make a name for himself. When Taiso asks what he should say if love calls, Jin tells his friend to tell love to wait. Back on the island, Jin, Michael, and Sawyer are in one side of a bunker. Everyone else is on the other side. Michael tries to encourage Jin by telling him that he'll be with Sun really soon. Ana Lucia tells them that they are moving out to the camp where the middle section survivors live, and they need to get ready for a long walk to back where they came from. To prepare for the long walk or hike, Ana Lucia and company decide it's best to gather food. Sawyer suggests escaping, but Michael shrugs the idea off because he wants to figure out what the hell's going on over here before I make any decisions about anything. Ana Lucia orders Cindy to go with Sawyer, Libby and Michael to travel together and gather fruit while she and Bernard get fish. Jin says he should fish with Ana Lucia and Bernard. He says fish after Sawyer suggests she take him up on his offer because Jin is our master fisherman and Ana Lucia lets Jin come. Later, Jack sees Sun going through her things looking for the ring and tries to help by telling a story about how he lost his wedding ring and tore apart the garbage and the plumbing looking for it. When Sun asks where he found it, he says he didn't. He bought a replacement instead, and his wife never found out. Sun doesn't seem too sure how she feels about that answer, and she pointedly notices Jack has no wedding ring on his left hand, and Jack sees her looking and laughs it off uncomfortably, saying, "The ring is now rattling around in a sock drawer back home. Jack offers to help Sun look for the ring, but she declines his help. While fishing, Ana Lucia thinks Jin is being lazy and not helping to catch the fish, but soon finds out Jin has used a sea urchin as bait and caught a great number of fish with his net. Jin takes his resume to Seoul Gateway Hotel and tells his interviewer, Mr. Kim, about how he held a job at another hotel and was promoted from busboy to waiter. Mr. Kim catches him in a lie and then says Jin is a bumpkin villager who stinks of fish. He hires Jin as a doorman anyway, with a stern warning that Jin is not to open the door for anyone like himself. We have Michael. He sets off with Libby to collect fruit. They talk, but can't seem to find any food. Libby apologizes for throwing Michael and his friends into the pit. Michael jokes that he isn't friends with the redneck, referring to Sawyer, of course. He asks Libby why the Tallies threw him into the pit. She says they are scared and have trust issues. Michael suggests that they go inland, as that's where all the fruit is on the side of the island, but Libby refuses. That's where they come from, she says. Meanwhile, Jin, Ana Lucia, Cindy, and Bernard sort through the fish. Sawyer is resting. A knife is placed in a piece of wood next to his head, stirring him, and the knife belongs to Mr. Echo, who tells Sawyer the knife is for his protection when they travel. He introduces himself to Sawyer, who nicknames him Mr. Ed. Okay. Libby runs in, saying Michael ran away. Jin figures he has gone to find Walt alone. He immediately wants to look for Michael, but Ana Lucia thinks otherwise. Sawyer seems content with letting Michael go, but Jin starts to run off, only to be stopped by Mr. Echo. Mr. Echo doesn't want Jin after Michael first, but after a short fight, as Jin actually decked Mr. Echo, and then Mr. Echo returned the favor, Mr. Echo tells Ana Lucia he will help Jin find his friend. So Mr. Echo is turning out to be a pretty awesome character, amongst Ana Lucia, who's pretty awesome too. Hurley gives advice, suggesting Vincent ate the ring while Sun was feeding him. Hurley tells Sun a funny story about the time his dog Buster accidentally swallowed a bunch of coins and later crapped out a $1.35 in nickels. Hurley asks Sun if she's ever had a dog, and Sun tells Hurley about the puppy that Jin had given her, and then she says the puppy's name and the nickname for it, or what it means, and I don't remember. I didn't write that down because I didn't feel like it's very important. And then Sun is set up on a blind date by a matchmaker. She walked past Jin to enter the hotel. It is with Jay Lee, the son of a family that owns 12 different hotels. Although Sun is pretty hesitant, she and Jay hit it off, and the pair schedule a meeting at the hotel where Jin is working. On their journey to find Michael, Jin and Echo have stopped, and Jin starts again, but Echo says no. Jin hears rustling and thinking it's Michael. He goes in to investigate. And then we have a boar runs out and knocks him down a hill. Jin comes to a stop near a dead body with a stake sticking out of his chest, and Echo comes over and says his name was Goodwin. Others? Jin asks, and Echo nods his head. And then Echo notices that Jin has a wedding ring and asks him if he has a wife, and Jin says yes, and Echo then asks Jin what her name is, to which Jin replies, Sun. And Mr. Echo asks if Sun was on the plane, to which Jin nods. And then later, when Sun is angrily tearing apart her garden, John Locke arrives. Bad day? Locke asks. Locke acts calmly as Sun says she doesn't remember ever seeing him angry. And Locke laughs and says he often used to be angry, especially when you tell him what to do. Don't tell me what I can't do! And frustrated. And Sun asks him why he is no longer becomes frustrated, and he says he's not lost anymore. Sun asks him how he found himself, and Locke answers, the same way everything lost gets found. I stopped looking. Then we go back to the Jin and Sun flashback stuff. Jin opens the car door for Jay and allows Jay to borrow a flower for him for his date. Sun walks past Jin into the hotel with Jay. Inside, after a pleasant meal, Sun starts to warm up to Jay. He suggests, however, that they keep seeing each other to keep their respective parents from pressuring them because he plans to marry a woman that he met in America. Sun feels used, wishes him well, and immediately leaves. Back on the island, Jin finds footprints, which he believes to be Michael's. Echo senses someone is coming, and he and Jin hide. Hidden in the bushes, they see a procession of people that go by in almost unearthly silence. The others are seen only from the knees down, all of them barefoot, all muddy, and the last, a child, carrying a brown teddy bear on a cord. Interesting. And then after a close encounter with the others, Jin offers to let Echo go back. Echo declines, saying they must stick together. Next, a poorly dressed father and a young boy approach. This is back to the flashback. The hotel and asks Jin for permission to enter. The boy urgently has to go to the bathroom, and Jin tells the man there is a bathroom down the street and asks the boy if he can hold it, but the boy just shakes his head. Jin tells them that they can use the bathroom, but to be quick. The father thanks Jin and tells him he's a good man. Mr. Kim observes this and gives him a stern dressing down, again insulting his background, but when Jin is ordered to kick them out, he quits and thanks Mr. Kim for the opportunity. And then we see Kate try to console Sun, telling her everything is all right. Sun says that certainly isn't the case and reveals that the message bottle has been found by Claire. Kate asks where it is, and Sun says she has buried it. Sawyer is having trouble keeping up with the trek due to his gunshot injury, which causes Ana Lucia to threaten to leave him behind. Sawyer asks Ana Lucia how she'll find his camp without him, and Ana Lucia says she'll follow the beach or let Echo guide them when he gets back. The two exchange some flirtatious, sarcastic banter, and then Sawyer asks Ana Lucia if she's married. She replies with no. And then she asks Sawyer if he's married, and upon receiving negative answer, asks if he's gay. Sawyer says no. Sawyer tells her, "Let's go. What are you waiting for?" And then we see that Jin has finally found Michael at the waterfall, yelling his son's name. Michael and his waltz, and where's my son is just annoying. Anyway, so Jin chases Michael down, despite Michael wishing for Jin to go away. Echo appears and tries to convince Michael to go back with them, but Michael isn't convinced. Jin tells Michael, "You find Walt," meaning that he will find Walt, but he should go with them now. And Mr. Echo says he can't find the others if they don't want him to. Michael chooses to go with Jin and Mr. Echo rather than continue his wild goose chase for Walt, screaming in the forest, "Walt! And where's my son?" And then upon digging up the bottle, Kate becomes upset and frantically attempts to read all the messages. Sun stops her and says the messages are private. Kate tells Sun she never said goodbye to Sawyer. Kate glances at the sand and tells Sun to look down. Sun's wedding ring is lying in the sand. Sun rejoices with happiness. And then wandering around a bridge in the flashback stuff, Jin passes a woman in an orange dress looking back wistfully. He shakes his head in amusement and turns around, colliding directly into Sun. Sun drops a few bags, which Jin helps pick up. They gaze at each other in silence. And then we get a quick shot of Sun and Kate again as the episode ends. And my throat is bothering me, and my left nostril is itching. But anyway, pretty interesting stuff. Not the most exciting episode of Lost, but still it's intriguing television. I'm going to score this episode an 8.2 out of 10. And obviously the characters of the episode are Sun and Jin. They're kind of the focal point. It was more so Jin, but Sun had some focal in the episode too. I think it's like Jin 60%, Sun 40%. And then the other character of the episode, in my opinion, I'm going to give it to Mr. Echo. Mr. Echo is all of a sudden becoming a very important character, which, upon my other watches of the show, maybe I didn't think that. So, anyway, you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Lost and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please don't forget to Hulk smash the like button, share the video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on this episode of Lost. What would you rate it? Who would be your characters of the episode? You can do like 3 or 4 if you want. Remember that you'll be interacting with me and the legendary Crazy Coffee Man, and Crazy Coffee Man is watching Lost for the first time. So don't spoil anything past this episode. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.